When I first met Bobby, it was at the Copacabana in New York City, a nightclub where he was working, and I went backstage to say hello. I had never met him, and I went to his dressing room and I heard him yell out, well, somebody else said, Paul Anka's father's here to see you, and Bobby said, tell him to stick it in his ear. And I thought, well, that's a very strange thing to say to somebody, and I assumed that he knew Paul Anka's father and was just kidding. But he was a cocky kind of kid. He really was cocky. And that's the kind of man that I grew to love. He was very confident of himself. He knew what he could do. He was great on a floor, on a nightclub floor. He could take an audience and just do whatever he wanted with them. He was a great showman. And he did my television show 6 or 7 times. And each time it was a great joy because he brought so much to the show. You know, if you have a personality that everybody knows, like everybody, the writers, for instance, know what Jack Benny would do, so it's easy to write for Jack Benny or, say, George Burns or any of the great comics. It's easy to write for them. Well, Bobby Darin's personality was so broad that it was easy for writers to write for him. And he was a joy to have on the show because he was always funny, and he was always the cocky guy. And if we did a threesome with, say, Eddie Fisher or some other singer, like Vic Damone, they knew exactly how Bobby was going to react to everything. And he was funny, and he was great. I never knew him really well outside of working with him professionally. During the 6 weeks that we worked together, say, I got to know him quite well as a performer. And you get to know somebody when you talk with them for 6 days in a row and you have lunch with them and you're discussing the show. And so I feel that I knew him, but I wasn't an intimate close friend with his that had dinner with him or hung out with him. But he certainly was a talented guy beyond comparison, I think. And if he were still alive, unfortunately, he died early. He had such imagination, was such an innovative kind of person that I'm sure that he would have gone on to do other things rather than just sing or act in movies. I think he probably would have made movies. He would have directed movies. He might have produced things. He might have done a Broadway show. He might have written the music for a Broadway show, but he certainly would have done more than just sing in a nightclub. And it's too bad that he didn't get a chance to do all those things that he would have done, because the world would be much richer if he had had that opportunity.